I thought it might be useful for you to take a few minutes and think about some things that you can do to take care of yourself while you are spending more hours, maybe than you have in a long time, on the screen. My first suggestion is that we remember that we are spending time using our eyes and using our eyes to look at a flat piece of glass, a two-dimensional object that fools us into thinking we're seeing something three-dimensional. So let's give our eyes a three-dimensional treat. Look out a window nearby, and if you don't have a window near you, look far as you can into your room or into another room, and relaxedly let something that's far away come into focus. See some qualities about it. Remember that your visual cortex deep in your brain, so your eyes don't have to do a lot of work to understand what you're seeing, just lenses adjusting, no big deal. No worries. That might refresh your eyes. And I'm going to finish this whole thing with another visual refresher. Let's stay with this concept of space. When we know we're in a larger space, we move and breathe a little differently than when we think we're in a smaller space. And we can get very involved and try to go deep into a space that doesn't actually exist through that glass. So take a moment and look at the nooks and crannies of the space that you're in. Get a sense of the distance between the ceiling and you, the floor, the walls, and you. You can even look into your screen and see that there's some things behind you in your room. I can see that I have a sofa behind me. And so I'm going to close my eyes for a moment. I invite you to do the same with what's in your room. And close your eyes for a moment and sense exactly where that object is. And then open your eyes again. So I like to think of it as something's got my back. So right now my sofa's got my back. Let's also talk about how we can use objects to feel more in ourselves. And let's start with taking a little break because I think it's important for you to vary how you're sitting or standing or putting a little more standing or sitting on a stool instead of a chair into your class time. A little more variety to what you're doing with your body, with your posture. So come to standing for a moment. And I'm going to call this big feet, big floor. Take a second and just sway a little side to side. When you move a little side to side, you're putting a little more weight on the outside of one foot and the inside of the other, and then a little more weight on the outside of the other foot and the inside of the other. You might be able to notice that your feet have width and that width is flexible and is spring-like and moves when you move. Come to centered on both feet and let your knees be a little bit bent and easy, bouncy. And then what would happen if you swayed forward just a little bit into your toes or back a little bit onto your heels? Just noticing how long your feet are. So we have big feet that are long, we have big feet that are wide, and so we're not balancing on a little tiny thing. We've got a substantial base of support. Now here's the really interesting thing. Now that you've woken up the sensation of your feet and weight through your feet, you probably are able to sense the floor and just how firm and supportive and how dense that floor is underneath you. You also can tell that the floor is a whole floor. not just the little spot where you're standing, but the whole floor is what you're standing on. This is this idea of throughness that we can remember when we use any object. So, if I put my hands on the back of my chair, I'm sensing not only my own feet on the floor, but the 4 feet of this chair on the floor too. In that way, I can expand my sensory field and wake myself up a bit. Walking around, getting some movement in your day is really important. So how about when you move into a little Zoom room, into a breakout room, ask your students to take a little walk. Even if they don't have a lot of space to walk in, take a little walk. Maybe they're late and they have to jog, and they come into the breakout room. Or maybe when you move from breakout room to breakout room, you come out of your chair and walk around a little bit as though you're walking and opening a door. There's one more really great way to think about getting yourself a little bit more movement, sitting or standing, and that's follow your nose. Let your nose lead and let your body follow through. Let your nose lead someplace else and let your body follow through. Nose leads. Whoop, there goes my nose going down, checking things out. Coming back up. Yes. And anyway, we all look a little bit like a dog, don't we? Looking in the Zoom all day long. So why not? Okay, the last thing I promised was something about palming. I didn't say that. Something about your vision. It's called palming. Rub your hands together and create some nice warm friction so that you can feel you have some energy between your hands. This is to comfort your eyes after spending a lot of time looking and also receiving a lot of light. And what you're going to do, I'll demonstrate with one hand, is you're going to bring the palm over your eye by putting the heel of your hand on your cheekbone and letting your hand rest over your eye. Now when I start, I always start by remembering that I'm bringing my hands to my eyes, not my head down to my hands. And maybe I can continue to lightly grow tall, have my friend at my back while I sit with my palms over my eyes. Another little trick is to start with your eyes open inside your palms so that you can see if there's light creeping in between your fingertips, and close that off and then close your eyes so that you really can relax in the darkness. You can do this for a minute or two, or even just long enough to count to about 20 seconds, or maybe as long as it would take you to wash your hands. When you bring your palms away, leave your eyes closed first. With your eyes closed, turn away from the screen. And now just slowly let your eyelashes open. That's it for now. I hope some of these suggestions make a difference for you.